because you're employing a large number of chefs. So you have high labor costs, you have high ingredient costs. It's a difficult gig to make money at Michelin. The customer arrives, let's take the order. Well, hang on, the kitchen's already got 8 tables. I want to just stall them a little bit, and get them a break. Oh, that, no.
Yeah.
But it was just ignorance and stupidity. And I look back with embarrassment, but that's what we can't be all things to all people.
One of your learnings from law was you actually understood a business. And I think what we were saying, the place here before, what was, I don't know what, not to shout out.
It was called something else.
It was called something else. And amazing restaurant. And
Amazing
restaurant. Did really, really well. And we were basically saying, whilst we were having lunch, is that a lot of these big celebrity chefs, they have their Michelin-starred as their flagship, but they'll actually make the money off the pub or the bistro, for example.
Yeah, it's by its nature, the standards, Michelin set a high standard. With that comes very high labor cost, because you're employing a large number of chefs at a skilled level, and that's difficult in itself these days. And therefore you're paying more. So you have high labor costs, you have high ingredient costs, because you're tending to serve, not always, it does, you've got various examples of Michelin stars who are selling, not serving turbot, but let's go with the turbot or the lobster, are serving high-end ingredients. It's a difficult gig to make money at Michelin. It's not impossible. There are obvious examples, many up and down the country. But I was rather taken, we were just briefly touched upon it at lunchtime, that, a very accomplished, lifelong restaurateur, David Moore at Pied à Terre in Fitzrovia, is just saying, look, I would like a staff buyout because the lease goes in about 5 years and I just can't make any money at this, and it's very difficult. And that's because of changed COVID dynamics, massively increased costs, energy costs, labor costs, food costs, whatever. But what one does see, and my analysis is very shallow because you can cite an example to suit whatever case you want to put forward, but what I do see is a number of high-profile chefs opening either bistros or gastropubs because, to say it's easier to make money, Jesus Christ, I think my team would crown me. But those developments, I think, may speak for themselves, that it's very difficult indeed to make money at a Michelin unless you are packed lunch and dinner every day. And once, but doing something like the Unruly Pig, I mean, we're doing 36,000, 40,000 covers a year. So I think some chefs would say it's very difficult to deliver really high-end quality with those numbers. Christ knows how those magicians do it, but they do.
What, as in the Michelin people?
No. I mean, it's just that we would do those numbers a year. So let's go to Saturday night. So typically we.
What would a bistro do a year? But I know we're kind of plucking. Numbers out
because the bistros tend to be higher volume. Let me put some flesh in. Your typical Michelin restaurant on a Saturday night probably does 45 to 60.
Right.
We do 100 to 120.
Right.
Now, with that comes, it's a difficult gig if you're producing high-end quality food with quasi-Michelin expectations. I hesitate to say that, but you get my drift. But my point being, we're getting over 100 covers on a Saturday. That's 100 average spend per heads, whereas in a Michelin, they're getting, say, 40 to 60, albeit they're charging probably double. Yeah. I've never run a Michelin restaurant. I don't know. Dave will be giggling his pants off now, saying he doesn't know what he's talking about again. Look, he's bullshitting. But broadly speaking, even those that charge at a higher rate, my understanding is
the volume's not there.
The volume isn't there necessarily because volume and Michelin quality sometimes don't go together automatically. Not always. There are notable exceptions. But it's really hard. But basically, your Michelin requires a level of staffing and a level of skill that's really expensive, and often a quality of ingredient that's also very expensive. That means it's very difficult to make lots of money.
I was listening to a podcast, completely tangential here, but a podcast about how Porsche became successful.
Right.
Really interesting. And they basically, it's called Acquired. They go into they'll go into all the companies. So they did Nike, they've done Uber, but they go right into the details, and it's sort of 3-4 hour podcast episodes. But they were talking about the gross margin of BMW versus Porsche versus Ferrari.
Right.
And I think BMW was, these numbers are off, but it's ballpark. So I think BMW is about 30%, but the volume's super high. Ferrari is I think they put a 50% markup on. Again, the volume's tiny. Whereas Porsche are really clever because they're in that sweet spot where they've got much higher margin than BMW, but they've got but the volume's still there, but it's still premium.
But that's high margin.
Yeah, so and I think that's the art, isn't it?
That's the art, and there are people who are much more adept at that. If you look at somewhere like Hyde in London, I don't know what the covers are, but there's a lot. So it can be done, but it requires a very slick operation and a lot of investment, and for many, it's difficult.
Yeah, and I'm not saying this is a Porsche, this restaurant by any stretch, but like it seems like you've got that balance in terms of the volume and the quality. You're voted the best pub in the UK.
Yeah.
That food I had for lunch was, I think, it's fucking better than some of the Michelin-starred restaurants I've been to. Absolutely stunning, and I think you could easily win a star.
Very cool.
But what is the art of getting those numbers right? Do you think, from what you know?
Well, it's a constant battle, and we've evolved, and we've cut those numbers, and we've when we started out, I mean, my God, we made so many mistakes, and we're back to where we came in. I mean, Dave went through hell. I ended up putting him through hell unintentionally. We had a far too big a menu, and we were just pushing through the numbers, and we weren't controlling flow and etc. So.
Controlling flow
of customers. It was almost like the customer arrives, let's take the order. Well, hang on, the kitchen's already got 8 tables. I want to just store them a little bit, and get them a bit. Oh, fuck that! No.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't say fuck that.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
But it was just ignorance and stupidity, and I look back with embarrassment. But that's what. But over the years, I have to say, it's Dave and Carl being right again, saying, look, we can't be all things to all people. I get you want it to be an accessible pub, but Dave has always led the charge on reducing the menu whilst trying to keep it offering as big a choice as we can, because it was a painful lesson for me, because I think, Christ, but it's so obvious now. If you have a more limited offering, it enables you to achieve better rate of consistency of delivery, because it's self-evident, really, isn't it? But the poor chap, he had to fight a bit on that one, and so over the years we have cut, and doing less has become more, but you still get a customer, increasingly less, but you're coming in, oh, there's nothing on this menu I can eat, you've only got 6 main courses, But sometimes because you want to build a business and you want to try and keep the customers happy, and you don't want to be in the position of my predecessor and not making money, the temptation was trying to be, well, we can do that, but we can do a burger. Well, Dave doesn't want to cook a burger. Oh, don't get me wrong, who doesn't love a burger? It's everyone's guilty pleasure. But we used to have a burger. It was a really nice burger with, it was a glorious burger, in fact. But over the years, we've cut that back, and we've cut our covers back, because we've understood. I mean, Dave was always on this mantra, and he was right, that you just cut back a little, less will be more, because you'll achieve a better quality and you'll have overall happier customers, and of course that will mean that the choice is more limited, and you can't keep all the people happy all the time.
So are you focused on repeat custom, or
yes.
Both?
I mean, we're very lucky because the Australia Dam top 50 gastropubs is a great thing, and all of us are in the whether it be the national restaurants or the gastropub list, will say the same thing. They do bring food tourists, and we do get people travelling down from Leeds to eat with us because we're the number one gastropub. But we are heavily reliant upon and proud of the fact that the majority of our clientele are from Suffolk or have a Suffolk home. So the truth is, our proximity to London means there's a heavy amount of second home owners here. Down the road in Orford, 58% own second homes. I think it's higher in Albury up the road. And so our main catchment is East Anglia, Suffolk in particular, but at the weekends very much London. But we do get some numbers travelling to us. I wouldn't want to over-egg that on it. Are they coming in the thousands from the Orkney Isles? Of course they aren't. But we do get occasional surprises. We do get people coming from North London, for example, midweek, which is a joy. And that's the joy of this list and what it has done for us, the gastropub list and latterly the restaurant awards.
Espressos is sponsored by supply chain software gurus Unleashed. It talks to your e-com and accounting software. It's helped islands cut admin time in half, get granular clarity